This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 165 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show. Certified Whinneys. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Our sponsors are Equestrian Collections. You can find them at equestriancollections.com. Also, Uncle Jimmy's brand products. Look for him and his hanging balls at uncle-jimmys.com. And, of course, Kentucky Performance Products at kppusa.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for the Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Well, howdy, Helena.
Hi, Glenn. It's good to be with you again.
I know, and we did a little video chat earlier. I actually got to see you for the first time in about 8 months.
I know, and we got to look at each other's offices, and I felt much better because mine wasn't the only one that was messy.
And you were making fun of me about that. Mine is not that bad, although I can't close my closet door.
That's a problem.
No, there's too much crap on the floor. So
And I got crap all over the floor too, but it's just spread out. It's not in the closet door.
I have a pile on my desk, though, that when I piled the last little pile of stuff on it today, it fell over. So that's my guide, is when the pile falls over, it's time to clean it up.
Did it cascade?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the worst.
A million paper pickup.
So, what's the weirdest thing on the floor in your office right now?
The cat?
Oh, that's the weirdest thing you have?
You know our cat.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Mine would be either a bag of shredded paper or a moldy saddle. Or the ukulele.
Ukulele's unusual. I don't know. That's definitely unusual.
Yeah.
Not everybody has a ukulele in their office.
No, ukulele, I have glue sticks.
What do you do with the ukulele?
Peter bought it for Grace to learn how to play.
And how'd that go?
Yeah, right.
Well, at least it wasn't the drums.
No, he's played it more than she has. I would love for her to play the drums. I'm a drum fan.
I don't know the last time I heard a ukulele.
They're really beautiful sounding.
Isn't that what Tiny Tim used to play in the old days?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a ukulele?
Yeah.
Isn't that the Hawaiian instrument?
No, I think... yeah. Ukulele's I don't know what Tiny Tim used to play.
It has
He
a
was
real
a creepy
squeaky
man.
little sound. Looks like a teeny little guitar or something.
Yes, it's a teeny tiny little sound. Maybe Don Ho played it too. I don't know. It's beautiful. Yes, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. I just looked it up. That's what I'm thinking about. It's like a miniature guitar.
Tiny Tim is creepy though. Creepy man.
Yeah, that's true.
Was creepy man. Is he still alive?
No, I think he died a long time ago. All right, let's talk about horses. We're going to talk about horses today. We're going to get right to it. Let's see here. We got, coming on the show today, we have Christy Landwehr. She is with the chief executive. I hope I didn't mess up her last name. I think I get it wrong every time. She's the chief executive officer of the Certified Horsemanship Association, and she's going to be on with the past chief executive officer of the Certified Horsemanship Association, Tara Gamble. And Tara's now known for giving clinics and teaching certified horsemanship around the world, and she's a master teacher. So she's going to be on with us, and hopefully we'll learn something because we both need help.
Yes, we do. And only a master could help us.
That's true. Yeah, nobody lower than that even has a chance.
Just go back to school and get that advanced instructor's
students
doctorate.
Should come with classifications too. And that's, how teachable are you?
We talk about this with horses all the time. Jen and I say, how trainable is he or she?
That's true. Well,
So
should students be rated the same way? And that determines what level of teacher you get. We have to bring this up with them.
Okay.
This is an area that needs discussed.
Okay.
And then also, we have a great product for you later on with the Tack and Habit that I did an interview while we were at the last show. And I think you're going to like this one. We had to hold off on this one because we had to wait till it got warm enough to talk about them. So
Timing is everything.
Summer. It's been summer down here still. I don't know about you.
It is. Well, I was in the ocean day before yesterday.
Really?
It was 84 degrees here for about 2 days. And then it was 80 degrees. So, somewhere around 80 degrees for about 3 days in a row. And the ocean was nice and warm. All three of us went in, Peter, Grace, and I.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I went in your ocean up there in New England like twice, and it was freezing even in August. It's all relative?
Well, it depends on where you are. If you went in the ocean up on the North Shore, it's always cold.
Okay.
Because
so it's warmer down in Rhode Island where you are?
Yeah, where we are in Rhode Island, the water's much warmer because the Gulf Stream actually hits the area up in the North Shore of Mass. In that
you get the Arctic Canadian Gulf Stream.
The Gulf Stream doesn't even hit there because of the way that the geography of the land. The Gulf Stream never has a chance to come into the Cape Ann and warm the waters up, so it always stays in the 60s. Down here, we had some really warm temperatures this year, ocean temperatures.
Yeah, up there in
so
Massachusetts,
it was about,
when you went in the water, you really expected to see an iceberg floating offshore.
I know. And we used to laugh because, by the time, up on the North Shore, by the time you could go in the water, it was August. It was freezing until then. And then you had maybe 2 days where it was above 65 degrees. And you're like, this is warm. This is awesome. You're shaking.
Blue.
You're blue. Yeah. This is fabulous.
Well, I'm glad you got to do that. That's fun. That's good. All right, let's get to our show today, and why don't we just get started on it? We have a commercial to do, and then we're going to be back with our guests.
Regular listeners to the Stable Scoop Show know that Glenn and I just love Uncle Jimmy and his fantastic line of products. His treats have the highest quality ingredients, and that's why they've taken off like they have. I mean, of course, it all started with Uncle Jimmy's hanging balls for use in the stall, and then along came squeezy buns, which are my personal favorite. And we do know that you need to reward your horse outside of his stall as well. So Uncle Jimmy developed Uncle Jimmy's squeezy buns. They are all natural, just like all of Uncle Jimmy's brand products. They're loaded with nutritional ingredients for your horse. And these actually also come in a sugar-free version. Unlike similar products on the market, these are individually wrapped, so that preserves the freshness and, of course, eliminates mess, which I need all the help with that I can get. They have their prices are competitive. You scour the catalogs and you'll see that even though Uncle Jimmy's products are better, they're not priced higher. He has a quality guarantee. He is sure that you and your horse are going to love his products. These squeezy buns in particular promise to be a hit among horses, ponies, minis, and horse people alike. So if you want to learn more about Uncle Jimmy's brand products, go online to uncle-jimmys.com and you'll find lots of information there.
All right, let's get to our guests. Well, we have Christy on the line here. Christy, I always get your name wrong, your last name. Can you say it again?
Absolutely. Land where? Like, where is the land?
Oh, see, now I'll remember it.
Land where?
Anna Twinney, I always want to say 20, and I've gotten hers wrong for 3 years, so you're in good company, Christy.
He still gets my name wrong. So, seriously.
All right, Christy, thank you so much for coming on with us again. And tell us a little bit, for those that didn't get to hear you on our program last year, we have a lot of new listeners. Tell us what the Certified Horsemanship Association is and does.
Absolutely. Our mission is to promote excellence in safety and education for the entire horse community, so a lot of safe horsemanship and those types of things. And we do that in a variety of ways. We certify riding instructors. We're the largest certifying body in North America. We also accredit equine facilities, and we also put on educational conferences regionally. We have about 10% of our membership up in Canada and 90% in the U.S., and then we also put on an international conference every year.
What do you we'll get to the certified instructors, but you said also certified farms?
Yes, we accredit equine facilities. So mainly right now that's universities and colleges that have equine programs and horses there on site, camps, trail ride operations, things like that.
And
What about lesson barns?
Yeah.
Yes, lesson barns, absolutely.
And
Now, is this relatively new? Sorry, Glenn, because I'm really excited about this.
I haven't heard of it either.
I'm drooling over here.
We've been doing it about 2 or 3 years pretty actively, and we just updated our standards manual just last year, so now we're going to start to hit it a little bit more heavily than you've seen in the past.
Okay, so standards manual. This is something this is my favorite word is standards. And I know Glenn and Jennifer in particular have been hearing me complain about this or whine about it for years, is that there is no grown-up level of standard across equine teaching facilities throughout the United States. I mean, there's Pony Club, but a lot of, and if you're not in Pony Club, a lot of people just poo-poo it and don't really pay attention to it. So if I'm hearing you correctly, CHA now has a list of standards that apply to equine facilities. So you can be like an accredited equine facility?
That's correct.
Okay. Give us some of the top 5 standards that are included in your requirements list.
Absolutely. We divide our standards book up into 3 main parts. There's program standards, there's site standards, and there's management standards. So just to give you an example, a site standard would be you don't want to use barbed wire around horses. Here's why you don't want to use it. You obviously don't want to use that for your arena fencing and possibly not for your stable fencing either unless you have thousands and thousands of acres and you're not going to have horses pushing fence. Things like that. We go into footing. We go into structures of barns, things that are safe for bedding installs, things along those lines.
That's fabulous. And now how many accredited sites do you have throughout the U.S. right now?
We have about 200 right now and growing. We just updated our standards manual last year, so we're starting to get the word out a little bit more now.
Do you guys have any idea how many facilities fit into those categories total in the United States and Canada?
What do you mean by that, Glenn?
Is there like tens of thousands of lesson barns? I'm sure.
I see what you said.
Yeah.
You know what? I would say tens of thousands if you include people that teach out of their backyard, because a lot of people do. A lot of people give riding lessons on just a couple of horses out of their own private home. So you're probably looking at quite a few. Now, actual ones that operate for, open to the public and advertise and do kind of the yellow page masses and things, probably a little bit less. But still, there are quite a few. And we get the word out in a variety of ways. I mean, obviously through our regions is the primary way. We have regional directors in each of our 11 regions that kind of help us target those that might be interested in getting accredited and possibly even becoming a host site to do our certification clinics. Things like that.
Chrissy, the more you come on, the more I like the Certified Horsemanship Association.
Well, that's good. When are you going to come to our conference? It'd be great to have you.
I would love to. First I got to become a member. Then I'm going to come to the conference. I think I'm going to dive into this pretty much with both feet. I'm really, really impressed with it's, I'm sitting here listening and I'm reading through. I have the homepage of your website up right now. And I just see the benefit. For example, you have certification programs for seasonal equestrian staff. I mean, how many pony camps really are out there, like you said, that just, it would be fabulous to have a list of certified instructors. Like, hey, guess what? You doing pony camp? I can help out. I'm CHA certified. And even for parents who are looking for a safe, reliable place to get their kids going, whether it's just for pleasure or even competitive. So maybe that's another question. Do you differentiate between the types of instructor certifications? I know you have levels, but what about discipline?
We do. Yeah, we certify our most prominent certification. The one that we seem to do the most is what's called our standard certification program, and that's English and Western combination. So at one clinic, which is 40 hours or 5 days, somebody can get certified in both English and Western, all the way up to level 4 in each, which is our highest level in each. Some people come and they're more predominant in one discipline or the other, but it gives them an opportunity to respect and understand the other discipline, which is kind of fun. And then the one that you were talking about, Helena, the seasonal one, that one is shorter in scope. It's only a couple of days because normally those folks are coming in just for the summer program to help a camp, let's say a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout camp or a YMCA or what have you, teach lessons during the summer. So a lot of those folks tend to be your high school and college students
Right.
that are coming in to just help for the summer, and then they don't necessarily continue teaching after that summer.
Which there's always a need for these kids to come in there. You have like a barn manager, a stable manager, or a trainer, a lot of freelance people who run these camps on their own out of their facilities, and they really need the bodies with some knowledge and some prep work. So that's the perfect. Now, let's say I'm, a 17-year-old high school student, and I really want to help out with pony camp. I understand that CHA has a certification. What do I do? What's the first thing I do? I go onto your website and I find what?
Yeah, you go by clinics, either by location or by date, and then you find a clinic. Now, we can only certify you if you're 18 or above in an actual level. You can only get assistant if you're 16 or 17. So so we kind of guide people, to kind of wait until they're 18 if they actually want a level. But if they're only going to assist some other instructor in the arena during their summer job, then obviously being 16 is fine as well.
But that's nice flexibility. So it's not like you have to go whole hog. You sort of have this entry level option.
Absolutely.
For the younger
Absolutely.
group.
And we try to also, we find that there's not a whole lot of groups out there teaching instructors how to teach. So we're kind of delving into that more with our regional conferences and our international conference and some of the articles that we have in our magazine and things like that, trying to help folks even get started, realizing that, kind of like you were saying, if somebody has a bad experience at their first riding lesson ever, they might not ever be a part of our industry. So we want to make sure that they hopefully don't have a bad experience at their very first riding lesson, that it's a good one. Then they go out and buy a saddle, buy a horse, buy a barn, do all that stuff.
Let's bring Tara in here. Why don't you introduce Tara? Because I have some questions I think that relate to this for her, too.
Absolutely. Tara Gamble is our immediate past president of our board of directors. She lives in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And she actually has been involved with CHA for many years. She's a certified instructor through us and a site visitor for us. And she's also been a speaker at numerous of our conferences in the past.
Well, hi, Tara.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome to the show. We're glad to have you. We're glad to have a Canadian on today.
Great. Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
Well, I want to ask you, Tara, you've been around the CHA for a long time, and the only way a group like this becomes effective is if there's adoption. Have you seen an increase in the adoption of the programs and the certifications, and do you see a time when it really becomes Kleenex, when you're not going to go to a barn unless it's CHA certified, and you're not going to go to an instructor unless they're certified? Do you ever see that, and is that the eventual goal?
I believe so, Glenn. I think you've hit that right on the head. That's something that's becoming more demand. Like, there's more demand for that with clients. They're becoming more educated and they're wanting the certification, because what it means is that instructor has been tested against standards within the industry and they've met them or exceeded them. So that's a big, as Helena was saying about, your children going to somebody, that's something they want to ensure for the safety, for their children, for themselves. And I believe it's becoming just increasingly more common that people are asking for that. And they're wanting to know that you've been tested against those standards.
So how do you reach out to the individual trainers and instructors out there? What's your call to action to them? Why should they become part of your organization?
Well, I think, first of all, we get a lot of inquiries because people are wanting themselves to have that. As Chrissy indicated, there's not a lot of resources out there for teaching instructors how to teach, but they want that resource. So that's sort of a first touch where somebody might be looking to get that, so they might research how they can get that. Then the second thing is just sort of being at trade shows, at expos, where people come up and they ask you and they say, wow, that's wonderful. I never knew you existed. How do I get involved in this? And so it seems to be spreading because the word is getting out through that networking.
Well,
so it's not like there's a lot of convincing that needs to take place. It's just really awareness.
Absolutely. And the demand it has grown exponentially in the last decade. As Chrissy had indicated, I've been a part of CHA for many, many years. And I could say pretty much in the early 90s, there was your organizations that maybe had camps that required it for insurance purposes. But as riding has become more popular, especially with the recreational people, they are becoming more educated and they're seeking that. So it's just exponentially growing, and the interest is phenomenal.
And I think the other thing that's probably helping it, and Helena will relate to this, is anybody that's had horses for any period of time and has had to board at other people's barns or has taken lessons at other people's barns, we've all run into the crackpots. We've all run into the ones that shouldn't be in business. So that makes us want to try and find a place that's reputable. And I think those kinds of experiences probably help you more than anything.
Absolutely, and it just sort of helps to strengthen the industry. Those people that maybe were operating not at a safe level, what's happening is they're sort of becoming phased out because either people won't deal with them anymore, or it's an opportunity for them to learn and grow and gain some knowledge and maybe improve. So I think it's just helped the industry overall.
So can we have a reverse certification, the stupid level, the idiot level, the dangerous level, and we'll do a reverse certification. What do you think? Oh, the other thing that Helena and I were talking about, too, before you guys came on, is we think that the students should have a level. So, like, I need a master instructor because I'm so unteachable. So every student should be certified to a level so that they're matched appropriately with the right level instructor. Like, you wouldn't want a beginner with me, or we're not going to get anywhere because I'm just stubborn. So,
well, you want to know what's really neat about CHA is that actually the certified instructor can offer rider levels to the level that they're certified at. So if you were to be taking lessons with, let's say, a level 3 instructor, you could be certified up to that level.
So you could be a certified rider?
You could as a level of achievement. Yes.
A level of achievement.
Helena loves this. She loves titles.
Yeah. I do. No, I'm a goal-oriented kind of girl. Okay. I like to have a gold star stamped on my test. So, and really it's just because you know what? Let's be frank here. Okay. Or Joan or Mary or whoever we want to be and say that the horse world is full of a lot of hot air. And people will say, "Oh, I'm this and I'm that," and my horse is trained to second level, or and this is a way to inject a little reality into what people are saying among themselves within the industry. There's a level of consistency that I think barns don't have. You have, let's say, students, riders who will ride someplace and they're great, everything's going wonderfully, and then they hit a rough spot. And because either the instructor isn't quite skilled at teaching, they might be a fabulous rider, they might be a fabulous trainer, but they're not the best teacher. Or, you can have the other way around. Maybe they're a great teacher, but they just don't have the skill. So what you have then is these students who they hit a wall and then they move barns, or and then they start over again. And then the same thing with the trainers. You have people who come and you have people who go. So it's really hard to maintain this level of consistency with training and teaching. But if you have something like these programs that CHA offers, this just maybe me being optimistic and a little bit naive, but I think when you have this kind of standard, you create that consistency and maybe a little bit more stability among these small bubusinesses. Am I reaching here, or do you see what I see?
Oh, absolutely.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Sorry. Yeah. No, I do. And I think, Helena, like you were saying, I think that's important to kind of get the word out that this even exists and that that's a possibility, because it is a voluntary certification. Obviously, we don't mandate anything in this country. Then people can then say, wow, this person took the extra effort to go and either get their barn accredited, get certified as an instructor, or both. Maybe I should look into them a little bit more than I do Joe down the street that might not have that. Now,
right.
Does that mean that every single certified instructor is going to be wonderful? Not necessarily. And does that mean that every single person out there who's not certified is going to be horrible? Definitely not. But I think that it kind of gives, like you said, the mass consumer who has a hard time differentiating between Western and English dressage and reining, let alone certified instructor or not. It gives them an opportunity to kind of know that, gosh, if my hairstylist has to get certified, maybe I should go to a riding instructor who is as well.
Right.
Boy, I hope they never certify talk show hosts, Selena, we're out of job.
Oh my God, I will fail.
We'll never get certified.
Fail. No, we'll get certified in boring. We're not boring. No, we just get a little too. I mean, you have to remember, we really don't have any formal training. We have lots of experience.
I'm a
just
horse
don't have
husband. What do I know? Yes.
But yeah, nothing.
Hey guys, now if I go to the website, I'm on the CHA at CHAinstructors.com website, and on there you can find clinics and you can find an instructor in your area. Is that the best resource for doing that?
Yes, if someone wants to find an instructor in their area, they can go to that CHAinstructors.com and then click on Advanced Search, and they can just type in the abbreviation of their province or state, and then they can also type in cities near them, and all the folks in their area will come up.
Oh, cool.
And then they click on them individually, and most of them have put a bio up there, maybe a photo, and then they will also include what level they're certified at, so you kind of know what their background is and what they're good at teaching. And Helena, if I can just mention, I really appreciated that you were so careful in how you spoke earlier about the trainers and teachers, and that you kind of differentiated between the two. We certify riding instructors, not horse trainers. And even though many of us have to get on occasionally and train a horse, obviously, we're not certifying folks to be horse trainers. We're certifying them to be instructors. And like you said, some people are such good riders, they're naturally so good, but they have a hard time communicating what they do with their body in order to have success, that they don't make good teachers. And sometimes vice versa. Sometimes an instructor is really, really thorough, but for whatever reason, maybe they don't train horses as well, so they go the school horse route, and they get the horses already trained and ready to go, and then they teach riders on them accordingly.
Right, and usually you have one person who's wearing a lot of hats. So that's the other nice part about what CHA does is you offer these modules of training and sharing for each of the different hats. Really, obviously not training, but in other words, you can get your facility certified. So there's standards there that you can aspire to, as well as your teaching standards that you can aspire to. So I just I would really like to see a time when, you walk into a barn and you go, what? You're not CHA certified? Get with the program. But I guess that takes some time and effort from wonderful people like you guys.
Are we doing English, Western, the whole gamut?
We are.
Okay.
Absolutely. And how we certify, though, is kind of as a whole. So if you came to a certification clinic and let's say you really wanted to get your jumping, that was kind of your background, then you could go ahead and do so in the English realm. But let's say you came, you're like, you know what, saddle seat eck is my thing, and I don't want to do jumping, but I want to do kind of the saddle seat eck route. You would still get an English certification, but it might say flat work only if you don't go down the jumping route.
The jumping route, okay.
Correct.
That's interesting. And now you have the national... you have a national meeting coming up in my hometown.
Yes, right there in Lexington, which is also CHA's hometown.
And so tell us about that.
Yes, it is coming up. It starts on Thursday, October 27th, so just a few weeks away, and it goes until that Sunday, the 30th. And it's going to be held at the Marriott Griffin Gate and also over at the Kentucky Horse Park. And what I think is so much fun about our conference, and Tara, you can go ahead and jump in here anytime you want with this since you've been to so many as well, is that participants get to ride on school horses that we provide from a local host site that are brought in. So all of our participants, be them instructors, barn managers, or just a general horse enthusiast who wants to come in and learn more about teaching, can actually ride with some of our speakers who we have coming in. And then, of course, everyone in the audience can learn as well. So it's fun.
So, Terry, I know you're going to be one of the speakers this year, right? See, you can't get away. You're past president, and they're still dragging your butt back here.
That's right.
So now, tell me, what will you do? What's going to be your thing at the conference this year?
Well, Glenn, I'm actually going to be doing 3 sessions, and the one that is going to be held over 2 days is a really neat one. It's going to be with another clinic instructor named Tammy Gaynor, and we're going to be talking about how to teach. So we're going to almost be doing like a mock CHA certification clinic. So what's so cool about that is somebody could come and they've registered for the conference. They can sign up for this session where they actually get to take part and learn about CHA. They learn about teaching techniques, which is things like voice projection, your group control, your setup in the arena. Then they actually get to partake as participants. so that they would have some opportunity to teach each other, just like we do in the CHA certification clinic. And then because Tammy and I are clinic staff, we can give them some feedback just as if they were taking a clinic. That one is really, really going to draw a lot of people because I know that they're very excited about, maybe they have not taken one before, but they want to get certified. So this would give them an idea of what's involved, and also a great resource and some feedback and tips for teaching.
Geez, that sounds like fun.
Yes. Are you going to sign up for that one?
I might stop in. I know that Christy said I'm allowed to go poke my nose in at some point. So,
that would be great.
I might have to go poke my nose in and see what you guys really do over there. How many are you expecting here, Christy?
Normally when we're in Kentucky, we have over 200.
Okay.
So we're looking at probably the 200 to 300 range. We were in Kentucky 3 years ago, and that's what we had, and numbers are right about the same. So we're really excited about that.
Good. Terrific. Now, Tara, I know that you're doing your own thing up there in Canada. What do you do up there?
Well, we have our own facility where I do teach group lessons. We have about 30 horses, and we offer English and Western. Primarily, I would do an intro level for the new people entering the industry, but then we specialize in some jumping and some reining. So it's very, very neat and diverse. We try to ride, of course, when it's a bit warmer. It gets challenging in the winter with the snow. We go indoors here, but very, very exciting opportunity, and been very, very blessed to have sort of been a part of CHA at a younger age, have certification, and I always had contracted out my services. So getting my own facility was an 18-year dream. So very, very rewarding.
Well, congratulations.
Congratulations, yes.
And I'm looking at the date. It's October 12th, which means you'll be going indoors tomorrow.
Next week, actually. You're not far off.
What's your
I
favorite?
thought it was still June.
Yeah, that's right. What's your favorite? What's your favorite? What's your favorite riding?
For myself, personally?
Yeah, for yourself.
I'm actually, I'm quite involved with Miss Rodeo Canada. I was runner-up in the 90s. I won't say the year. So we do a lot of reining and Western events.
It was 99. She's pretty young.
You're close.
Yeah.
You're close. Yeah, so that's personally where I have the strongest background, but I do a lot of teaching of English flat work as well as jumping.
Hey, I love watching reining, so I'm in there with you.
Do you guys get to ride for fun, though, much anymore? I mean, it's hard when you're really busy, but do you make time to just get on and enjoy?
I try. My husband looks at me and he goes, "You need to go east." If I've had a hard day, he'll come home and look at me and say, "Oh, you need to go east." We have farmers' fields east where I live, and I'll hop on my horse and just go. And it does help to kind of, decompress a little bit from the day. So I try a couple times a week, but I wish it was more.
And that's so important. It's so important for you and your horse. Most of the big dressage riders today and the eventers will tell you how important it is for them to go out once a week and just go on a trail ride with their horses. It's good for their horse's health, and it's good for their health, too.
Well, that happens to a lot of people in the horse business. Is you get into horses for emotional and passionate reasons, and then once you start working in the industry, you find yourself with less and less time to actually enjoy the horses that you love so much. So I'm always interested to hear how other people squeeze in that very important couple of hours a week to keep their head on straight.
Well, and what I try to do, too, I actually still teach lessons occasionally in the afternoon and on the weekends just to kind of keep my hands in it and not just do the admin side only. And I'll hop on the school horse before I have the student get on so that they can kind of have a visual of what that lesson's going to be that day. Plus, I can kind of tune the horse up a little bit and get the horse in the right mindset to have the student on. So I've tried to do that. And I'll tell you, that's really helped me get on my school horses more because, we never find time to ride our own horses. I think then they end up getting trained by the student, which can be a little frightening. So it works out well that way.
And sticking their heads through the rails and they get the grass outside the ring.
That's right. That's right.
Stop at the gate, those kinds of things.
Oh, yes, lots of stopping at the gate.
Well, that's terrific, guys. Thank you so much for coming on here today. Let's give out some websites. Tara's website is TG Tara Gamble, for Tara Gamble, tghorsemanship.com. And then, of course, the CHA is the best one, CHAinstructors.com.
yes, that would be the greatest way because you can still get back to our other site that way, and that's just easier to remember.
Okay, good. And don't forget the conference coming up. Can people still get into it?
They sure can, and it's open to anybody. So don't think you have to be a riding instructor or even want to be a riding instructor. Your general horse enthusiast who loves them can come and play with us.
All right, and that's October 27th through the 30th here in Lexington, Kentucky. And you know what? And anybody that's been to Lexington this time of year will tell you, it is the most beautiful. Lexington is beautiful most of the year. It is the most beautiful time here in the fall, hands down. So come see us in Lexington the end of the month. Thank you, ladies.
The fall season is upon us, and it's time to start thinking about your horse's blanket again. Perhaps it's time for a new one. Well, Equestrian Collections has an extensive range of blankets for all weather conditions from popular brands like Weatherbeta, Amigo, Rambo, Rhino. And they have all kinds for turning out, stabling, whatever it is you need, they have it. When it gets colder, your horse will be ready with a brand new blanket from Equestrian Collections. The whole universe of equestrian shopping is at your fingertips, starting with their blanket collection. And it's all at a price you can afford. If you don't believe me, just log on to equestriancollections.com and find your pony a brand new blankie.
Okay, cool. Well, I have the Tack and Habit segment for this week, and it's a product called Whinny Warmers. And I got to admit, when I first saw this product at the show we were at the ADA show a little while back, Jamie and I saw this, and we said, it looks like socks for horses. And in fact, it is socks for horses. But they're different in that they are made specially for horses, and they're made to stay up, so they don't have the drop-down problem. We did a little interview with the designer of this product, and I think that we hit her pretty hard with those kinds of questions, so you're going to hear that coming up. This was done at the ADA conference. My co-host on the morning show, Jamie Jennings, and I did the interview. And this segment, the Tack and Habit segment, is brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. So we're going to be right back to hear about Whinny Warmers. Joint Armor from KPP provides your horse with the building blocks necessary to maintain healthy joints throughout his lifetime. Kentucky Performance Products Quality Assurance provides you with the confidence that you are purchasing a safe, high-quality product. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Joint Armor is concentrated and affordable. One jar lasts a whole 75 days. Joint Armor helps maintain fluid motion and flexibility in your horse's joints. It also supports normal cartilage development and reduces joint deterioration. Learn more about Joint Armor from Kentucky Performance Products and all their other terrific products at kppusa.com. That's kppusa.com. Well, it's Glenn back with you with Jamie Jennings of the Morning Show here at the American Equestrian Trade Association show. And we have Paula from a company called Socks for Horses Incorporated, and we're talking about a product today called the Whinny Warmers and the Whinny Socks for Horses, and we're going to find out about both of those. So, welcome, Paula, first of all.
Thank you, Glenn.
And now, let's talk about the Whinny Socks for Horses.
Time out.
Yeah.
These are socks for horses.
Yeah, that's right.
We're saying socks, like you put them on their feet and
like
their legs.
SOCKS.
Yeah, like
yes.
socks. So I wanted to just point that out because when I saw these yesterday, I thought, now why on earth would you put socks on horses? And actually, there's many, many good reasons to do it. I am sitting here in this trade show, by the way, freezing to death. It is so cold in here. They've cranked on the AC. I live in the desert. This is god-awful in here. I'm freezing to death, no jacket. So I put some socks on my arms. And I've got the winter socks on here, which really help keep Paul will explain in a second. And then I went to put the summer sock on the other arm. And it made my arm colder.
I told you not to put it on if you wanted to be warm.
I don't understand how a sock can make us colder. So let's start with the summer socks and explain why and how and what for.
Great. The summer socks are actually called summer Whinnies.
Summer Whinnies.
Right.
Okay,
And the summer Whinnie was developed to stop or help horses stop that obsessive stomping that they do when they're out in the field. They're just constantly stomping. They tear their feet, their hoofs to pieces.
Loose shoes. All that stuff, yeah.
Our farrier says our horses' hooves are the prettiest hooves in entire county.
Really?
And of course, they were wearing summer Whinneys. We have them wearing summer Whinneys all the time. But the technology is amazing. And to answer your question, yes, they're to protect the legs from flies. But there's way more to them than that. We realized that in doing that also, we wanted to put a sock that would be the best environment you could possibly put on a horse leg in the summer or winter on our customers' horses' legs. And so we learned more about fiber than we ever thought we would learn.
Yeah.
And the summer sock that I said to you would not feel good if you were cold is a polyester blend of two specific fibers. One is a HydroPure wicking yarn, which wicks the moisture from your arm and creates that cooling effect. It loves moisture. And so the other combination yarn is Fast Shield, which is a antimicrobial yarn. It contains, on an ionic level, embedded in the fibers, copper and silver. Silver is an antibacterial, copper is an antifungal. And so what you have created now around that horse's leg is this beautiful, clean, cool
Dry.
environment
Yeah.
for the summer. The socks, they're amazing. I mean, and the fact that they stay up, we've let out the...
Well, they look. Yeah, I want to ask you about that. They look
Sure.
like a overgrown tube sock.
Well-
So what is the difference, Jamie? I think you said you actually tried tube socks.
Yes, doesn't work. They fall down.
doesn't work.
So
They
these
never get that great.
The
crisp
difference is
cut.
these don't fall down.
The difference is those don't fall down now.
Okay.
Now they will fall down if your horse goes out and runs and bucks for 30 minutes. Sorry, everything will fall down and many other things even come off.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
these socks, they stay up amazingly well. We've
And
actually had
they seem
a
to
guy
be a
that...
little tighter knitted, or a little, I don't know what the word is, than tube socks. You know, if I'm comparing them, you know. And you're right. I put this on my arm. It's making my arm chilly.
Yeah.
Isn't
I'm
that
telling you,
weird?
it's crazy.
That is kind of weird.
Science.
I know. One word.
It really
science.
is.
It
Science.
really does make my arm chilly. Wow.
We've asked knitting machines to do things knitting machines have never, ever done before. We've captured the attention of the knitting industry in the United States. The socks are, as you can see, extremely well finished.
Yes, they are. Yep.
From the point that the yarn is even spun is high tech.
And this is
And
there's a flare. It's sort of like a old 70s flare pants.
Got to go around the hoof, right?
That's the
covers
hoof
the hoof.
part, right? And at the bottom. Okay.
so we're even looking to cover the soft tissue just above the hoof wall.
Okay.
And so
So-
we want as much of the leg protected as possible. You can see that the knitting is expanded out around the fetlock and the pastern area. That allows for the free motion of the joint, and then it tightens up again over the cannon. And the point being is that when you let out the knit, it allows for that free motion, so it's not stressing the sock or pulling it down. That's been a primary key point in the science of keeping it up on the leg. Mm-hmm. We're the first and the only ones to come along and create socks for horses, and we know now why. We were the first.
Because
It's
not
been
easy.
hard. It's been hard, but we are proud of them, and we would put them on a Queen of England's horses if she'd let us. We know these socks are all about function. We hear from people all over the country that tell us about how wounds and sores and funguses have healed as a result of having the socks on. It's because you put a beautiful, clean environment on that leg that can breathe, and things heal.
Yeah,
They will.
I do like on here that you have the disclaimer that basically don't put this on your horse's leg if he's going to kill you. You actually have to have a horse that you can handle their feet, which, you know, you would think that wasn't something that was so obvious, but a lot of people, you need to teach your horse to pick their feet.
Well, no, I imagine they do the boot dance. You know, the boot dance after you put the boots on them before you're
pick up
shipping
their
them. They
legs
pick up
really
and
high.
and they throw them around. They must do that when they put these on.
Really, we don't hear a whole lot about that, but yes, sometimes that does
well, they're
happen.
going to. It's a horse thing. All right, now
I'd like to say something
Yeah.
about that, though, if I can. I think that that anybody that has a horse that's respectful
Yeah.
of them being and handling their feet, these socks will be great for them. If a horse isn't being respectful of you being around its
You
feet.
got more problems than flies on the
Yeah,
list.
that's right. That's right.
Spend some money, get the horse handled on that, get trained, because
Yeah.
that horse's whole future depends upon how willing it is to be safely around people.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You're right. You're investing
ensuring
in
its future.
its life.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right, so that's the summer socks, but we also have winter socks. Now, I get the fly thing, okay? I get why that's so important. I'm not quite sure I get the winter socks on the horse.
That's a very specific market.
And they're called Whinny warmers.
Those are called Whinny warmers, and they were the beginning.
And Jamie is now wearing those, by the way, because
Yes.
she's cold.
'Cause
That sock was
In
created
the middle of
because
summer.
we had an old mare that in the wintertime couldn't hardly move. She was so cold she would stand. And we thought, well, let's try putting socks on. But the socks would fall off. And we kept improving on the idea until finally, with the encouragement of our veterinarian and our farrier, they said, you've got to market these socks. And so we did. But we changed her life by warming up her knees and her legs. She suffered so badly from arthritis.
I see
We
arthritis.
changed her life.
That makes sense.
We
Yeah.
just warmed her up, and all of a sudden, this mare that wouldn't move around started long, extended trots out in the pasture and cantering with the others. And we're going, and maybe even in the morning, we'd find a sock was gone, and then we knew we'd really done something right.
Yeah.
We knew we'd done it really right.
She's
When-
running so much, you ran it
that
off.
she lost a sock. We knew that we had turned her life around.
Blew her socks off.
Blew her socks off. And doggone, it was, I mean, people just said, you have to do this. So many horses can be helped. And the Whinny Warmer is about helping horses that are suffering from IR Cushing's, laminitis, founder, anything that impairs the circulation, or arthritis, or old bone tendon injuries. But I do want to say, too, that the Whinny Warmer is also plated on the inside with the same antimicrobial yarn that we use on the summer Whinnies.
Mm-hmm.
And so
now these you put them on and it just acts like a winter sock
it's
would act.
warm.
It
Yeah.
looks like, again...
You heated
we
them up
mentioned
here,
it in-
Jamie.
I did. They warmed me up.
As the president of the company said it, he said, it's like going out to the mailbox with just an overcoat on and nothing on your legs. That's how horses have to feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Well, that's
he
true.
just said, you put a coat on them. Why can't you do something about their legs?
Yeah. Well, they're a good product, and they're interesting, and
And they come in sizes.
helpful
Both of
and-
them come in sizes, so you can fit your horse. You don't have to try and put the pony and stretch it over a draft horse leg. So
We don't
Yeah.
carry draft horse
Okay.
yet. But I would like to say that the Hosiery Technology Institute here in the United States is so behind us because we're totally made in America.
okay, wait a minute. First of all, there's a Hosiery Technology Institute in the United
Yes,
States.
and that's science in this country. It's science. Knitting is science, and so they are helping us right now create a method for being able to knit draft size socks, which are huge. There are no sock machines around that will knit that are large enough to
Have they
knit a
ever
draft
seen my
size.
feet?
That's
feet.
You may need to
Bragger.
talk to them. but seriously, and so yes, science gets into this, and it's really exciting. We have people we've had, I think, it's just the most amazing story how many people have jumped in to help us bring this idea into function and reality.
Well, Paula, we certainly do thank
Yeah,
you for
what's the-
coming
what's the
by.
website?
WhinnyWarmers.com.
Okay.
Whinny
WhinnyWarmers.com.
Yeah.
WHINNY.
Yeah, WhinnyWarmers.com.
All right, thank you,
so
Paula.
much.
You're welcome.
Well, Helena, there you go. Whinny Warmers, socks for your horse.
I'm going to get myself some Whinny warmers.
They work. I mean, they stay up. That's the amazing part about them. Because if you were just to take, because I asked about the tube sock. If you just take a tube sock and put it on your horse, it doesn't stay up. They don't even stay up on my legs, let alone a horse's leg. So that's what these are made for, out of that special super duper fabric she was talking about. So if you want to find that, just visit their website, WhinnyWarmers.com. And you have something for sale too, don't you?
I do have something for sale. Yes, I have a pony for sale. As a matter of fact, this is my pony. It's Pi Opa, and he is a 9-year-old Arab sport horse. He is for sale His current price is listed at $6,000. He is right now, I would call him an eventing prospect. He'd be great. Beginner, novice, definitely training level with a talented rider. Super athletic, a lot of fun. As most of you know, I am on the ground for quite some time with a brand new ACL, and I won't be able to do any jumping or real heavy duty cross country riding for quite a while. So Pi is for sale, and in exchange, I am looking for a bomb-proof trail horse.
You're looking for a beaker like one we have.
I'm looking for a beaker.
Yes.
And so we will post a link both on Facebook as well as the Stable Scoop show notes for this week to a full page. Pi has his own webpage that shows photos and videos of him being schooled. He really is just a great horse. I have to tell you, he is the easiest keeper I have ever met in my life.
Yeah, you said your husband has taken care of him too.
Absolutely loves him. He's just a really, really great horse. He's super athletic and has absolutely no business sitting around in my backyard waiting for me to get better. He needs to do something great with somebody. And so I'm looking for the right home for him. He does not need to go. He can stay here forever. But he's talented, and I would love to see somebody equally as enthusiastic take him on.
And I know regular listeners to the show, are going to know that we've joked about Pi. We've kidded about the fact that you did your flying dismount and hurt your leg and everything. But you've had somebody working with him since you were injured, right?
Yes, and it was not through his naughty behavior that he was that I came off. We were trying new saddles on him, and I was in my barnyard and I hadn't tightened my girth enough, and the saddle slipped forward and pinched, and he went, ooh, ooh, ow, ow, ah, ah. And I said, oh, the saddle slipped, it's pinching, let me get off. And I literally just swung my legs over like I was 16 years old, vaulting off my horse, and I landed on uneven ground. But my injury is by no means a result of his bad behavior.
No, that was just me picking on you mostly.
Which you do, and I'm the first one to say, maybe I'm a little bit too honest. He's definitely for a competent rider. I wouldn't put a beginner on him. Although my husband's been on him with a glass of whiskey in one hand and a cigar in the other. You just never know what this horse could do. So anyway, check him out. We'll post a link up on stablescoop.com, and you can see all you want to see about Pi O'Pa.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to be back again next week. Wendy, my co-host on the driving radio show, and I are heading out, by the time you're listening to this on Friday, we'll be at Martin's Carriage Auction. It's one of the largest carriage auctions in the world. It happens twice a year in Pennsylvania, where I grew up. And we're heading up there. Wendy is good friends with the owners of the auction because she's bought so many carriages over the years. So we had him on the show on Monday, and they have, I got to tell you about the one carriage they have, okay? If I had won the lottery, which I played every time the lottery went, twice a week for the last month because I wanted this carriage, and I didn't win, so I'm not buying it. But they have a 3/4 completely handmade replica of what would be the one carriage from the Old West that I would want? Not a stagecoach. I cook.
What? Chuck wagon?
Yes, you got it. They have a beautiful chuck wagon that this 80-year-old guy made from scratch. And it is a complete replica. Apparently, he did a tremendous amount of research into exactly what went into these, and he has all the utensils, all of the old cast iron pots and pans. Everything is outfitted like it would, with the 55-gallon wooden barrels on the side to hold the water for cooking. Everything is there, and it's 3/4 size, which means you can haul it with horses rather than draft horses.
So, okay, this is funny because that you say chuck wagon, because the very first thing I thought when you said what kind of wagon, I said chuck wagon. That's Glenn. And then you gave me the little clue, and I said, okay, definitely chuck wagon. Never having even considered, I thought chuck wagon was just a brand of dog food.
No,
okay, which is why I hesitated to totally jump out with a chuck wagon answer. But now, so as we're sitting here, of course,
That's how the brand of dog food got its name.
Okay, well, a quick Google search on images pulls up some of the most incredible chuck wagons. These things are amazing.
Yes, they are amazing. And this one's all wood. It's just a beautiful piece of equipment. And of course, chuck wagons are utility vehicles. They're made to cook for large quantities of wranglers while out on the ranch.
Well, it definitely reads like a Ford Explorer because, you have you can buy one from the Great Northern Livery Company. And of course, it's got your standard features like toolbox and a driver's spring seat and tailgate boards. But then you can get options like an oak water keg.
That's right.
A whip socket.
Well, this has all of those. And I asked Paul Martin of Martin's Auction, I said, what's this thing going to go for? And he said, well, this guy has made, over the years, 3 stagecoaches, full-size stagecoaches, and this is his 3rd chuck wagon, and he's not making any more after this. So he said he expects it'll go for $20,000 to $30,000.
Okay, and all right, so whatever chuck wagon you do end up getting when you do win the lottery, you have to get this thing called decorative hand-painted rose mailing. Do you know what that is?
No, I have no idea.
Rose mailing? Okay, well, look it up. And then this company, the Great Northern Livery Company, they have a carriage on their website that has this hand-painted rose mailing on it. Oh my God. I need to own this thing. You have to see it. It's the most beautiful. This is actually a sleigh that they show on their website. But you go to this website, Great Northern Livery Company.
Okay,
They just got free advertising, but they have consignment vehicles.
I'm trying to find the chuck wagon on here.
Oh, where did I see the carriage design directory? Express wagon. That must be like the Roach Coach. Oh, here's chuck wagon. Yeah, chuck wagon or prairie schooner.
Oh, they do hearses and everything else too.
This one is, the chuck wagon is $12,000.
Oh, that's not too bad.
No, it's cheaper than a car.
We asked him what the 2 most expensive carriages to ever sell because they've been selling carriages for 40 years. And he said $210,000 was the most expensive carriage. And the carriage lamps, those are the little lamps on the side that you see in all carriages, $15,000 each.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, have you seen the limousine? The vis-a-vis.
I'm actually just on the vis-a-vis are always a larger carriage. The vis-a-vis are a lot of what you see in the cities, for the rides. But I'm looking at the vis-a-vis limousine. That is quite a thing.
That's big. This is really cool. See, there's a whole other world of horses that I would never even know about if it wasn't for the Stable Scoop Show.
Well, you know what? The big thing now in England is funerals are going back to using horse-drawn hearses. And you're going to see, if you go to their page on Carriage Design Directory, you'll see the horse-drawn hearse there. And they're starting to use those at funeral homes now, and people are requesting the horse-drawn hearse to go from the funeral home to the cemetery.
Ooh, I'm doing that.
And
I'm doing that.
It's become so popular that in some of the driving competitions they have over there, they have what's called a commercial class, where you bring in your beer wagons and all that stuff. And it's a pretty class, basically. And they judge you on authenticity. Well, they had to separate the hearses out into their own class because there are so many of them now. So Wendy wants to, there's 2 hearses for sale at this auction. She wants to lay in the back of one of them and get a picture.
Okay.
She's kind of crazy.
We love Wendy. I love Wendy. Look at the doctor's buggy.
If I was rich,
I would learn to drive if I could drive one of these things.
If I was rich, I would have a carriage collection. No question about it.
I could see that. Yeah. I would have, if I was rich, I would have a carriage.
I would have a collection. I would have a bunch of them.
I think I might have a sleigh.
Fascinating. I just find them
really like the
absolutely
sleighs.
Fascinating.
Well, all right, we're blabbing away, boring our listeners.
I know. Well, that's it, everybody. We will be back. I'll give you a report on the auction next week. I do want to remind you that all of the shows can be heard at horseradionetwork.com. And of course, be sure to find all of our notes and everything at stablescoop.com. And you're going to post the thing about pie on our website too, right?
I am indeed,
okay,
yes.
Good. Good. And, so, of course, we love your feedback. We love getting your emails. You can email Helena at HelenaAt HorseRadioNetwork.com or me at Glenn with 2 N's at HorseRadioNetwork.com. And you want to thank our sponsors?
I do want to thank our sponsors, Equestrian Collections, Uncle Jimmy's brand products, and of course, Kentucky Performance Products. We thank all of you for your continued support. We do adore you, and we adore your products. Also, don't forget to find us on Facebook. I know Glenn mentioned this, but I have videos of me balancing on that half a yoga ball thingamajig.
Oh, that we talked about last week?
That we talked about last week.
I want to see that. Did you put it up?
It's up, and the torture that my physical therapist put me through, and the balancing. There's another balance board thing that I know Daniel Stewart will just love. So both those videos are up there from my PT session today.
All right, good. I can't wait to watch those. I'm going to be watching those very soon.
Yeah, I know. You'll have plenty to tease me about next week.
All right, that's it for this week, Helena.
And there will be more next week. Thanks for listening, everybody.